Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. Now this tutorial is going to be part one of two videos I'm going to make. This part would be just looking at making a very simple logo stroke watermark to add to an image, as this was asked of me on the Facebook page how it was done. I did point the person in the direction of a written tutorial that I'd already made and a video tutorial which had been made by someone a long time ago who's not part of the group that I just found on YouTube. But as I wanted to extend that basic tutorial, which this part will be, into a two-part tutorial, I did think it was worthwhile making both videos. So for this first, like I said, for this first video, I'm just going to make a fairly bog standard watermark, which I think is what the person really just wanted made. Before I do that though, to go slightly off topic, we are going to need to know a thing about something called the character map, which is part of Windows and has been for as long as I can remember. In Windows 10, down the bottom here, it's got I'm Cortana, ask me anything. If you click in there and start typing the word character map, so I can do CHA and see character map has already come up as the first option. You click on that and the character map will open. Now I'll just, before I carry on and look at this character map, I'll just drop that down a second and go to something I've previously just set up, because in Windows XP and 7, if you want the character map, you'd have to go to the start menu, then programs, accessories, system tools, character map. In Windows 8, you can open the character map from the app screen. You can just go to this Metro interface, right click on any blank area and select all apps in the lower right corner, and then locate and click character map in the apps screen. And like I said, Windows 10, you can do it via the Ask Cortana. So they're the various ways from various versions of Windows to get to the character map. So let me just go back. In fact, let me go to that image, because this is a very important part of the character map. Is once you know which character you want to use, and for the purpose of this video I want the copyright symbol, so if I click on this copyright symbol here and then select it, as you can see it has put the character copyright symbol here. Now if this was a normal program that I wanted to enter this into, like Word or even PhotoPlus, I could copy it and then go to that program and paste it. But PhotoPlus, although it can handle text, it doesn't do text as well as it could do. In fact, it is probably an area that Serif could look at improving in newer versions. But to get whatever symbol that you want, and from whichever text font you want, you can pick any of the fonts, and then you can pick any all these symbols that are listed. There's some pretty weird symbols, so you can get quite a lot of different text that you can add, but I'm going to stick with the copyright symbol. And down the bottom here it's got keystroke Alt plus 0169. Now because I can't copy and paste it in, this is what I'm going to have to use. So you have to press the Alt key, which is located here on the keyboard, keep it held down and type in whichever number corresponds with the symbol that you want to enter. But you have to use these numbers here, not the numbered keys along the top here. These will not work. It has to be these numbered keys on the right. So just hold down Alt, type in 00169, and then the copyright symbol will appear. So I will close that. I will go back to that image. Right, so now we are ready to add a logo watermark to this image. And what you need to do is come down here to the text tool, which is down here on the tools toolbar on the left. Click on that, and when you bring the cursor over to the image, it is a big-ish A font. Now if you click and hold down and then move the mouse, that A will get bigger and bigger, and that will be the end size of where it's going to start. It's best to sort of start fairly big because you can always alter the size later on. So just click and hold, drag it out, and then you get this flashing cursor, which means it's ready to start typing. Along the top here, you've got the font that it starts in. It always starts in Times New Roman, and the font size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Alt key and then type in 0169, and you maybe can't see that at the moment because it's a rather dark image, but what I'll do is I'll change to the move symbol tool and move it up here to the lighter area, because as you can see the text image layer has been made onto a new layer, so it can be moved around the screen wherever you want. So now it's in the lighter area. I can go back to the text tool, and if I just put the cursor next to the end of where that text finished, it should bring back the cursor. That's it. You may have to do it a couple of times to get it to register. So now I can continue typing, and I can do my name. Now obviously this is far too big, and probably, as this is quite a dark image, would be better if it had been in white. So what I'm doing, I will just again go to the end of the text, click and hold, drag back to highlight all the text that I've typed, and now I can change the font if I want. So I'll change it to Verdana, and then change the font size to quite low. Let's go down to 48. That's far too low. Let's go up to 160, a bit better. Let's go up to 250, which is the biggest one listed here. That will do. The colour is still black, so if I click on that and then I come down right to the bottom left hand corner to the white and then click OK, and if I come off of the text tool, let's go to the move tool. As you can now see, that watermark stroke logo is now in white, in a different size and a different colour, different font, and again I can now move it down to a dark corner and it will become visible. So I mean, obviously if this was a picture, say a snowy scene, you wouldn't want a white logo, you'd want a black one, or whatever colour you want to set it at. So that is basically a fairly easy way to make a straightforward watermark. You can play around with the shape and the position of this. I mean, again, because it's on its own text layer, you could deform. Let's go to the deform tool. If you go to the deform tool, I mean, you could rotate it, for example. So you don't have to have it dead straight. If I undo that a couple of times, or once, if I hold down the control key while in the deform tool and get hold of, say, the top right corner here and drag it out at a weird angle, and then if I get rid of the lines around it, you can see the name sort of going off into the distance. So you're not restricted to just doing a fairly plain logo. You can make it look a bit more interesting by changing its angle and its position, its rotation, its color, its font, its size, just from the few basic options that are available once you select the text tool and select your start typing. If you wanted to add something else, you can just go back to the text tool, again draw out another area, and it will add another layer. And then if you wanted, for example, you could put the year the photograph was taken or whatever information you want. Again, just click and highlight, change the color to white so it stands out better, and then there you go. That's the end of this very short video showing you how to make a logo, and I will get around to making the next part of this video, which will look at sort of making a preset file that you can then just slot your pictures into, and you have your logos already made for you. You don't have to keep doing it every time. So I will see you in part 2 of this video. Thank you and goodbye.